My daughter might, put it for her, but. I don't know. I did hear from Melissa that they're possible in mind too. Possibly. So I don't, hopefully it's at that.
And I haven't checked, that's still active on the job,
What's that?
that's still active on the job posting site.
As far as I know, it's. Still-
Yeah.
We're just waiting for applicants.
Yeah.
I have to talk to some folks.
Okay, Cameron.
Just a couple things. Last summer, we talked about the OSA Cup and we had finished 11th, and that was our highest we'd ever had. This year, we moved into the top 10. We're 9th out of 94 schools, up 2 spots, 2.5 points behind CS Lewis for 8th. Team GPAs, the lowest we had was a 3.35 and the highest was a 3.77. So not only are they doing some stuff on the courts and the fields, they're taking care of business in the classroom. Our 2024 graduation rate came back as 25 of 26 graduated on time. That would be 96%, slightly. Summer school, after an initial hiccup, got funding pulled together and they had missed 1 day of instruction. Had a great time. They finished up with a field trip to Enchanted Forest. The kids really enjoyed that. I got lots of pictures. A lot of them got posted up onto Facebook and stuff too. As Aaron mentioned, Barry had the elementary middle school football camp last week. He had about 14, 15 kids. Majority of the middle school kids were there. Tonight, went out there. He's got his camp going. Looks like he's got the majority of his kids that he expects to be out. I think 12 or 13, and then he had invited the 8th graders to join since we're not in the OSA calendar. 3 of the 4 8th graders are there in attendance. They're all sweat. The week prior to moratorium, volleyball hosted 8 through 12 camp. Kaylee's going to host another one for the elementary this week. Gearing up for staff in services. And then just lastly, Barry and the crew have everything looking great outside. The fields are looking really good. Inside, getting everything back together, and they've organized and cleaned up a lot of the miscellaneous piles of stuff that have collected over the years at different locations. Over there by the containers is looking better. So that's all I've got.
Thank you. Okay, so the addition that I had was to F, number 3, certified staff. Olivia Flack, Aaron's daughter, who he was referring to a minute ago, did apply for the special education TOSA job. TOSA means teacher on special assignment. She is a brand new graduate and brand new graduate and interviewed with us while I was on vacation. I just tuned in via Zoom, and Cameron and Tammy Dark were here. Made up the interview committee. She interviewed very well. We were all impressed with her. I totally read over her letters of recommendation. She has elementary degree up K through 9th grade and also a middle school math endorsement. So she brings that skill with her. She just seemed delightful. I was very impressed with her presence, and she's just fresh out of college, brand new person, you know, to the school scene, and we all liked her very much. So I called her back today and told her that I was going to come to you tonight and ask you to approve my recommendation to hire her for that spot. She asked for a couple of days to think about it because she was actually at work when I called her. I said, well, you could have a couple of days, but with the timing the way it is, I don't want to wait till the board meeting next month because that puts us behind the start of school. So I would like your approval to support my recommendation in hiring Olivia for this position. When she gets a chance to look it over and make her decision, then it'll either be thumbs up or thumbs down on her end of it. But if she's a thumbs up, then we're all good to go and we can get her on board in time for school to start. So that's kind of where we are with that. So that's my recommendation. Thought she was lovely, wonderful. Cameron and Tammy agreed. Cameron gave her a tour around. Any comments? She asked lots of great questions and all of that. We had a good discussion afterwards, answering your questions, and
Rest with the facilities,
yeah,
you know, made the comment, we offer a lot more than Lapine does as far as electives and classes.
yeah. And what I got back from her in reference, her letters of recommendation and reference check was just how responsive she is with kids, how quickly she builds relationships, how in tune she is with issues that they're having, barriers to their academic and behavioral success, and sitting down and talking with them and reaching out. And also just her initiative, not waiting for things to be done. She just kind of has a what needs to be done, just gets done. And everybody was very impressed with her as far as references go. So, and we were as well. So that's what I'm recommending and asking you to do tonight.
And there's been no other applicants, right?
Mm.
So you needed to approve hire pending offer acceptance.
Sure, that would work. And if she calls me back in a day or two and accepts the job, then we're gonna get her all on board for start school. And we don't have a lot of time. She knows that. I told her when the first day of school was, and she knows. And so, yeah,
Now on that TOSA, that's gonna be a 3-year program to get.
well, you're still on 3-year probation. She's just hired as a teacher, whether or not now.
For the special ed part.
Yes, special ed, she's just gonna be working in that department. And she can do that with that special licensure, teacher on special assignment. That's what that is. And so she doesn't have to have a sped license to do that. But we can put her in there and she can work with those kids for a year, and then we'll see where we stand. We didn't even talk about, do you want to get your special ed license? I don't know if she does. She might go in there and go, nope, 1 year as a TOSA is fine with me. But then at that point in time, if she likes it here and it's a good fit, she wants to remain, then if we have any other resignations or vacancies at elementary level or something, then we could switch her over to that if she didn't want to stay where she's gonna be hired for.
Then, if she stayed a second year, then she'd have to start doing schoolwork for a special ed.
I don't know that. I don't think so.
This
I don't think so. I don't think you have to go for that in year 2.
Okay.
Not of that, no, don't. I think you can do that for a longer period of time.
I see.
And it might be a 3-year go on that, like you were talking about. I don't really know. But it's more than one. I know that
Yeah.
for
I
sure.
think the 3 years comes in when we go for a conditional assignment,
Yes,
and then they're on the clock to get.
I see.
yeah,
I think the
yes.
TOSA, we can,
So just hire her as a teacher then.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
See how-
Yes, and then she will work with special ed students either in that room or out in the classroom with whoever needs her support. We have others that we know, the students we're gonna place them with, and she would kind of do what the other person was doing too, just in and out of the classroom, push in, pull out, combination thereof.
And is Miss Dark, would she be the main sped person?
Yes,
So-
yes, and she would also be Olivia's mentor, official mentor through the REN. She's taken the training to learn how to do that. And so that would be a perfect setup, because then her official mentor would be right there in the room with her, kind of teaching partners in a way. And be very easy for them to communicate back and forth on strategies or where she needs help or support, all of that. So pretty sweet deal, really, in my opinion, as far as
Flexibility.
logistics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and the REN has also started a special ed collaborative this year for the first time, so they'll be able to meet, I think it's bi-weekly with the other special ed teachers within the 5 counties that the REN supports, so.
Right.
Ask questions from others, and how do you
Get that outside,
correct, yeah, where they don't,
outside look.
when you're Department of 1 or 2, it's
Okay.
hard to bounce off the kids.
Mary, you got any other questions?
Win-win.
Everybody comfortable? So entertain a motion, proper motion.
Yeah, I move that we support the hire of Ms. Fly pending our acceptance of the offer.
Okay.
Second.
Mark seconded. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify I'd be raising your hand, that'd be 5-0.
Great. Thank
Now,
you.
if you can put over the volleyball.
No choice.
Yeah, part of your teacher salary.
Yeah, Yeah.
You're coming in, so, good, thank you.
yeah, thank you.
G,
Yes, gee, we had the second read for the November 2024 Title IX effective policies, same ones I gave you last time. I don't have any suggested changes unless you guys had questions about any of them. It was pretty straightforward and language pretty similar to what you had before.
yeah, it's ironic, we did a bunch of those. Now we're right back to the original copies.
Exactly, I thought the same
Good
thing.
through them,
Mhm.
Good through that. I read them all, I had no concerns other than I think it was the sexual harassment one, I brought that concern up earlier, so it has nothing to do with this particular
Okay.
policy.
Yeah.
Adoption. Anybody else? It was compelling reading. It's good stuff.
We need a motion to adopt.
No, that should just go away, doesn't it?
Because unless you had questions, what you said before was you were going to just, well, you still
We take the superintendent's.
take the recommendation on the first read, and then you're gonna come back with questions. If you don't, what I would prefer you do is just say, we just approve them all on second read and then go with that.
Let's just get a motion, keep it clean.
Yep, keep it clean.
Make a motion to approve the second reading and adopt the November 24 Title IX effective policies.
I'll second that.
Okay, properly moved, seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, raise your hand, 5-0.
Perfect, thank you.
Policies are adopted.
Okay, and then the only other real quick little thing, the governor's executive order on the cell phone ban, still haven't come out with any proposed policy language that I've seen. The only thing I can tell you about that is that, we're gonna have to do it, and if they don't come out with, to some extent, they don't come out with some language. What I did find out is that you don't have to put them in a lockbox thing, they can still keep them in their backpack locker or whatever, they just can't get them out and use them. So even if they wanted to keep them on them, because one of the things I think parents are gonna be upset about is they don't want their kid to be away from their phone in case of an emergency or something like that. They understand they can call the office, but that just doesn't seem to be the norm anymore, and that's kind of hard for parents. So that, I knew that was probably going to be a battle for some folks. Anyway, but I did read in some guidance, they had some frequently asked questions, and they did say that you can keep them in backpacks, locker, or something like that. They're just not to have them out during class. We're supposed to, we still have until October 31st to come up with policy, so we have a little bit of time on this to wait for their suggested language. I would like to see what they have to suggest before we just start creating something out of our back pocket. And because I want to know more specifically about phones, like what other type of devices, what they're trying to do, like the watches and all that other stuff. What they're trying to do is keep any without checking every kid's device, all that sort of thing. It's the particulars that I'm kind of hung up on. Because it could be smartwatches, it could be anything else. So, and we were talking about, well, if they wanted to listen to music, they could still listen to music on their Chromebook if they wanted to. They just wouldn't be able to use their phone to listen to it like they're used to using now. So there would be some changes for sure. The ban is still going from the start of the school day to the end of the school day, excluding times, and we had a little bit of discussion about this last time, excluding times when students are not on school grounds or under supervision. And we talked about sports trips. Well, they said that if you're ever on the to and from school, there's only one bus driver. So they said that's when they're allowed, because the bus driver can't police all that and drive the bus. But when they're on a sports trip, well, then it's up to the coach to police it. Bus driver still doesn't have to, then they want the coach. They don't want him using them on sports trips. They want the coach to police that. So that's why the difference. Whether or not it makes any sense to you, that's beside the point, but that's what what the reasoning is behind that thinking. because you had that question and so did I. I found that out. There will be other exceptions, maybe for some students with IEP needs, IEP programs or medical needs that are required to have them. That's mentioned and allowed, but a bit of a gray area as to what those situations might be. The one I can think of that would be clear as a bell would be the people who have the blood sugar monitor on them that goes glucose that goes straight to their phone. We've had a kid or two with that before. That's not that uncommon these days, to have it on your phone. That would be one. And then it says, districts will need to create policies outlining how phones will be stored during the day and how violations will be addressed. But suspension is not allowed as a punishment. Can't pull them from class. You can't do anything like that to pull them away from their educational education. So I know that much, but as far as policy, I'd still like to wait. And we still have September, October meetings that we can come up with something when we get further guidance. That's all I know about that right now. Just an update for you. And other than that, that's all I have.
Sounds like they're gonna give you $13 million to figure out how to store the phones, so that's good. $13 million to give to schools just to store phones.
Or say,
Check.
Yeah,
just give us the money.
so
Yeah.
it should be set up.
Just put a signal jammer on, and they won't be able to use it anyways. Be the easiest solution.
Nice tin roof.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, that's-
and the dates there are straightforward, with it, so
Mhm.
changes on that, any of
Nope.
that,
No,
okay? Nothing else on that, will be an executive session.
Okay.
So. Not sure when I say all this stuff and when we clear the room, I guess, is Elliot connected?
I think
I
that's
don't
a
know.
call
I
to-
think you have to,
That's a call to order of executive session, so we just need to move to executive.
Okay.
session to Start with.
Yes. then put it in the next one.
All right. So at this time, we're gonna move on to executive session. ORS 192.6602B to consider the dismissal try to make the situation better in the future and stop that from happening. Oh. Any other discussion? Okay, same none. All those in favor of the motion, can you read that motion just so that we're,
I move that the board issue a written decision not substantiating the complaint that was heard in executive session, delegate authority to the board chair to respond to the parties and the matter discussed in executive session.
thank you, Janet, substitute.
Right.
All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. All those opposed, same sign. 5-0. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna write who White is gone on here so she knows it.
Let's put all that recorded. And yeah, and thank you for your time bringing this forward.
Yep, thank you.
You're more than welcome to stay, but we have another executive session, so. That's the way we're working tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. With that, I am going to close open session at 7:42 and open executive session. All right. It is 8:07. We're back in open session. Any questions, comments from the board? Saying none. Future agenda item, we just have one so far, the policy change to increase PO amount to 15,000 for approval by the board. That will be on the September meeting. Anything else on agenda items?
I
Should
wouldn't
we-
mind,
Should we review handbook policy to ORS 339250?
Is that question G or question two?
Oh, to the,
Super.
that's the suspension one.
yeah, I haven't read that recently to know if there's anything in there about the age difference in the process.
Whether our manual, the parent manual breaks down the K-5 rule versus, or is it just blanketed for K-12
The law,
about suspension?
the law breaks it down.
I-
No, yeah, a lot of-
Is that
Is it clear in the handbook?
in the handbook to the parents? Is that,
Yeah,
Because we actually don't know what the handbook says. Or I don't.
I think she knows about
I
that.
don't.
That's the vote.
Well, here's,
And so that's
So
our
it's just a
question.
verification.
We should look at that.
yeah,
because I'm redoing the handbooks now, what I can do is find those spots in there where it mentions that in K6. And just make sure that it's super clear, because I can't change the way the ORS is written, but I can change. Like put a sentence there that says,
Kind of
please
explain
know
that.
that this applies to, fifth grade and under everything else. Because, yeah.
So it's more clear.
so as.
And
just
harassment.
need that a bit more, I can. do
If somebody rip your arm off and it's sitting in the other, that's all,
Got it.
i.e.
Okay. Handbook policy, RE suspension. And then I'm gonna clarify,
Elliot gave me that ORS if you want it.
yeah, 339250.
To DA,
BA,
To D.
2DA. Okay, I can more clearly explain that or just add a sentence.
Yep, I think that's the idea.
Okay,
So please say, review it. Yeah.
you have
Okay.
something else, Gil?
what I forgot now. Oh, I wanted, what about, if I have a conversation with Barry about that list, you might bring it preliminarily and just say, here's kind of what we're looking at, here's what we have on our list, and maybe have the beginning of the strategic plan, if you want to call it that, in the district. And just kind of see what we're looking at money wise. Do you want to see that in September, or what do you think?
I would prompt him, tell him the board wants to spend some money on maintenance, so you better come prepared to start working on stuff.
POs, bring purchase orders.
Bring POs, okay.
Well, you guys
Or
also,
at least as a-
you have to be sensitive to his time too.
You do.
And so if you just throw that at him, I mean, he could be researching it for a month and not do anything else. So,
Maybe October,
yeah,
in a couple months.
let's just think about how we want to progress that. So
Okay.
that we're not throwing it all on him. And
Maybe we should have him do a walkthrough with us, show us what,
yeah,
I'll got lots of time in September.
I did a walkthrough with him. You're not.
we kind of know, I mean, we kind of know, we just don't know how to value it. At least I don't, how to put a value to everything. And then you start looking at priority. We know there's certain things we have to be in compliance with, probably the kitchen. Sooner or later, we're gonna get in trouble, so we need to, that's the kind of stuff we just, maybe if he has that list, maybe just start with a prioritizing it, and then we can then start putting some numbers down. And I mean, we don't even know what we got to spend yet until we really think about that budget a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's,
So,
yeah.
Just like
And, yeah.
fertilizer, you might cut it back 75% this year.
The other thing that's gonna be on there is, cell phone policy. For
Yeah,
hopefully,
that's your.
I know,
So I guess on a big picture side of things, to add to that, do we need to, I should say more so, develop report goals and when we're gonna do that?
Board goals. We talked about.
We've talked about this many times,
November.
but,
Yeah, we're not doing it in September. We're season.
okay,
probably October.
Yeah.
but I mean, that's something we need on the radar.
Otherwise,
There's a way that we can mold all this together.
So,
Special session every week. Board goals. All right, anything else for the good of the order? If not, I call this adjourned at 14.
Shape that box trucks.
Yeah, I think we've still got board goals.
I think we got all the times too, Dan.